What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. Today in this episode we're going to be talking about inmates that are feared the most and also inmates that are respected the most. And I'm also going to be talking about anyone in the position of power in general. You could be parents, you could be a store owner that runs a store, or you could be an OG and shot caller in the state penitentiary. What I'm going to say is going to benefit anyone and everyone in a position of power, or even the person that's slowly rising to power. This is exactly how you should act in order to get what you need to get done. Okay, so first let's go ahead and talk about the people that you're going to fear in prison, alright? You know, everyone goes to prison and they think that they should fear certain individuals. And the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of fearing an inmate, it is a gang member. That's right. One of those wild young bucks that are just trying to make a name for themselves by causing harm to random individuals, stealing from them, whatever the case may be, okay? Those inmates are the ones that people typically think to be scared of, and they should be. Those inmates, they really should be feared, okay? But most of the time in the state penitentiary, the OG or shot caller has a structure, okay, and all these little footmen and soldiers of theirs, they go by what he says. Usually, sometimes they might mess up and start some kind of beef or something, and the OGs have to bring their wisdom and their knowledge and go fix it and straighten the whole situation, okay? They might even get violated or something, consequences, repercussions within that gang. But for the most part, the ones that you need to fear when it comes to the gang activity are the ones that do not have an OG or shot caller in the block, and they're running rampant and they're just acting wild because they have the numbers, okay? They got the numbers on their side, so they feel as though that they can do whatever they want. They can start a fight with someone and they know that 9 of their homeboys are going to have their back, of his homeboys are going to have his back when they get to scrapping, you know what I mean? So they tend to do whatever they please, okay? So that is the first inmate that you should fear, that most people definitely should fear, and that is unregulated gang members, okay? A gang without structure is always very dangerous to civilians, if you want to say it like that. Now, the next person the gang members I've never really been scared of, man. Never had a problem with them at all. I mean, there's been a couple times where, stuff could have hit the fan very quickly, but there's always a different kind of inmate that I feared way more than gang members, okay? Now, in order to understand where I'm going to go with this, you got to take yourself outside of the penitentiary, okay, to the root of the problem. And this is the mental hospitals, okay? The psych wards. They're slowly disappearing. I don't know if anyone has noticed, back in the day, of course, they had a ton of mental hospitals, huge ones, because back then doctors didn't know how to diagnose certain things, so they just labeled them as crazy. But now they do, and they give them psych meds, and they put them on their way on the streets, okay? They put a lot of crazy people out there that should seriously be in the psych ward, okay? They should be in the loony house. Now, this goes along with the prison aspect, because nowadays, to me, the person that I would fear the most are those crazies in prison, that they don't belong there, okay? There's a lot of people in there that there is a mental block, mental illness block, but it's not really filled with everyone, okay? There's a lot of crazies roaming around in main population that you really have to look out for, man. And I knew this one guy. He was really crazy, man. He would walk around talking to himself. He would have a split personality. He would even get angry and yell at himself while he's cooking a meal at the microwave. People stayed away from this guy, man. And not to mention, he was huge. He lifted weights on the regular, man. I mean, he was a big dude, and he definitely looked like if he got you in a bear hug, he could break your spine. That was how big this guy was. And he was absolutely crazy, man. He used to go to the shower in his state boots and jeans wrapped around with the towel, like he didn't have them on underneath the towel or something. Everyone would be like, man, this guy is so crazy. But, he used to walk around talking to himself. He would get mad. I've seen people smacking themselves or in the middle of the night while everyone's sleeping, talking in the corner of the cell. I've seen some very crazy people, okay? Now, of course there's crazy people out there that really ain't about nothing, and they, you could tell that you really can't tell. You never know what's going on in a person's mind, okay? But typically a crazy person will get in a fight and they'll do weird stuff, okay? They could bite a hole in your throat. They could break every single one of your fingers. You could be knocked out and they'll still just break your fingers for the heck of it. That's crazy, man. Okay, stuff like that is crazy. Or, me, when I get in a fight and I win a fight, I'm going to stop naturally. I'm not going to keep on beating the man into a pulp. But there are guys, and that is one of the craziest stories I've seen in prison, is where the guy gets beat to a pulp. Okay? And no one stopped it. It went on for minutes, man. It was truly devastating to see this guy coming out in a stretcher. It was a very scary thing. That's when you realize, fists are very dangerous in the wrong hands. Okay? For real. And those are the crazy ones, man. They just don't stop. They have no remorse. They will keep on beating someone up until their face is almost completely disfigured. That's psychopath. That's ludicrous. You know what I mean? So those are the most terrifying guys to me in prison. And I've seen a few of them. I definitely stay out of their way. Okay? And that's the only good thing about them. If you stay out their way, they pretty much won't mess with you. You know what I mean? Now, if you're his bunkie and you're trapped in a cell, I'll tell you what. I'll probably be leaving that cell within the next day or two. I am not living with no maniac in my cell, okay? Talking in the middle of the night to himself. It just ain't happening. I can't just wake up in the middle of the night and see someone talking to themselves in the corner of the cell. I just can't do it. That's just, I would never be able to get a good night's sleep. But anyways, so yeah, those are the people that you need to fear, man. Unregulated gang members. Okay, they have no shot caller OG in the block, and they're just running rampant. And also the crazies. Okay, there's literally crazy people in the penitentiary that should not be there, and those guys are definitely some of the guys you need to fear. Okay, and stay away from. Now, that's all I got for the guys that you need to fear. I mean, I didn't fear too many guys at all, but those were the only two that I could really think of that most people really should stay away from. Now let's go ahead and start talking about the inmates that have respect. And this goes along the lines of someone that commented on my video and they said, why don't you tell us about Muslims in prison? Well, in my eyes, okay, in my eyes, OGs and shot callers, they get respect because they work with common sense and they work with the people, this, that, and third. And that's going to be towards the end of my video. But the Muslims in prison, okay, they are respected, believe it or not. And they're very civilized. And there's a lot of them. A lot of people don't talk about them, but there's a lot of them. And they got a lot of, different things than other inmates can have. They got the cool hats. They got the prayer rugs and the prayer oils. And, just cool thing. They get different diet meals. And the penitentiary system really caters to these Muslims. I mean, they have, what is it? Time of the month when they can only eat before sunrise and eat after sunset. I can't remember. Wow. Anyways, I'm sure one of y'all would tell me. And the prison system caters to that. I mean, it changes the whole flow of the institution because they are respecting these Muslims' wishes. Okay, and Muslims, I'll tell you what, every Muslim that I've came across in the penitentiary is very few that is petty and disrespectful. Okay, almost all of them, they are very nice individuals. They could give you the shirt off of their back. And I'm not Muslim. Okay, I'm not Muslim. That is not my choice of faith. But I am here to tell you, these guys, man, a lot of them are very good role models. I mean, they will give you the shirt off their back. They will give you some food if you need to, okay? And they're very smart. Most of them are very smart, and they teach yourself a lot in prison. They don't let that time go to waste. But they're also feared. Now, this is the tricky part about fear and respect, okay? There's a perfect balance in fear and respect. Some people say fear and respect, they don't go together at all. Well, I strongly disagree, my friends, because the most powerful people in the world are usually assigned because they have the perfect amount of fear and respect. Leaders, okay, no matter where you're at. That's what I was saying earlier in the very beginning of this video. All leaders should have this trait, okay? And a lot of the Muslims in prison are respected because of this, okay? They are feared in a way. They have the numbers, they have the groups, but they're also respected, and people don't mind being around them because they are peaceful. But if stuff hits a fan, they could be tough, okay? That's how a lot of Christians should be. But unfortunately, the Christian life in the penitentiary is very funny, man. It really is. They don't really seem to have a structure. They don't really seem to hang with each other, and there's a lot of reasons for this, but I'm not going to get into that at this moment. That's another video, another day. But the Muslims, man, they definitely run a lot of prisons. Okay, there was a prison that was in Greensville. They had a lot of power in Greensville. And another thing, the COs, they respect them as well. You know what I mean? The COs really respect Muslims. Like I said, they cater to them in certain ways in the state penitentiary. It's really wild, to tell you the truth. I think that is pretty much the only religion in prison that really will change the whole structure and of what's going on during the day. Usually during the day you have the same thing going on every day, class or whatever, work, whatever you might be doing. But certain holidays, when it comes to the Muslims, everything will change up. And they usually are the ones that get fed first, and it's just crazy. And they get vegetables that aren't cooked, and they have way more nutrients in them, okay? So if I ever got vegetables, I always got it from a Muslim guy or a kitchen worker, or also a Jewish man. They got some of the best meals on Canteen for the Jewish nation, okay? The kosher meals, they are absolutely delicious, especially in the holiday packs. But in my eyes, the people that are respected the most in the state penitentiary, it is not gangs. They are feared more than anything, okay? It is Muslims. They are respected. And also, another type of criminal that is respected in prison for their charges, okay? Bank robbers. Everybody loves a bank robber, bro. I met at least 6 or 7 bank robbers in my time, and I just was absolutely fascinated by this guy, man. Every guy that I talked to that was in there for robbing banks, I just had to hear the story and hear everything that happened, man. It's something about bank robbers that people really respect, man. It's like you're watching a movie in real life and you're hearing it from that person. It's cool. And another type of person that is respected in prison, okay, and also feared at the same time, is someone that committed a murder on someone for hurting their family, okay? People really, really, really respect individuals that defend and will go to the limit, okay, to break that number one rule of thou shalt not murder, okay, to defend their family. And a lot of people, like my best friend when I first went to prison, his name was E. He had life, but he just went and retaliated because someone killed his brother, okay? So those guys are definitely respected in the penitentiary as well, because not only are they in there for killing a person, taking their life, okay, making them go meet their maker, but also because they did it for sort of an honorable way, okay? They were taking care of their family duties. And a lot of people nowadays, they don't even stand for their family duties anymore, man. They just let stuff go by. And that's a shame. So yeah, those are the guys that are feared and respected the most in the state penitentiary. Now, I want to say one more thing before this is over, and this is for anyone that's in a position of power. I'm talking about anyone, especially parents, bosses, OGs, and shot callers, okay? And this goes back to the Roman times, all right? Back in the Roman times, the emperor, okay, let's just say Caesar, he knew how to interact with the people, okay? The people could be your children, they could be your employees, or they could be your foot soldiers, and you're the leader of the gang. That's what I mean by people, your lower subordinates. You are a leader. So what you have to do in order to get the perfect amount of respect and fear, okay? You have to have structure. You have to have discipline. You have to cater to the people as well. If you just have fear and structure and rules with no play, no love, giving kickback to the people, to your children, and teach them a lesson as you do it, you will not win. You will be hated by either your kids, you will be hated by your peers, your staff, or you'll be hated by your foot soldiers, and someone might come along the lines and take you out just because you are strictly acting upon fear and law and order without giving out the respect part, okay? The true man that really has power mentally over other people, okay, is the one that actually cares for them as well. You got to care about the next person, okay? If you are a leader and you're trying to build structure and get people to follow what you want, you have to give back to them as well. You can't just take. Just like I said in the Roman times, Caesar, they built colosseums, they brought games, they gave tax cuts, okay? You want to win the favor of the people, you want to give to them just so you can get way more back, okay? There's a lot of ways to get into a position of power, okay? You could start off by trying to make a name for yourself by being vicious on the streets or something, you know what I mean? But when you get to that position of leadership, that's when your mind state has to change, my friend. It has to change. You have to be wise. You have to be smart. You have to be vigilant, okay? You have to win over the people, okay? Minds. This is one of the most powerful games on earth. Not the PS4, none of that stuff, okay? The mind. You control your mind, and you can control the game. I'm telling you, you got to open your eyes to every aspect and think outside the box, especially when it comes to people, because they all think differently. And I talk about that a lot on my channel, man, because I've seen so many different types of people. And I can almost guarantee you, I know exactly what kind of person they are just by listening to them after talking for 3 minutes with them. Okay? I love learning about people's mind state, man. So always remember that, all y'all out there in a position of power, leaders, OGs, parents, business owners, if you want to make it a long time, okay, if you want to make it a long time, you got to be able to show that love to anyone and everyone, that respect, because that's how you get the power. That's how you get the favor with the people. When you have the favor with the people, you will stay in that position of power for a very long time. Anyways, I hope everyone got a little bit of information and enjoyed watching this episode, okay? There is a couple things. I got me a new router today. I don't know if you can see it. That's a new Nighthawk. Man, that thing is fast. I'm almost at 200 megabits per second on the PlayStation, okay? And that's just a rough internet speed. But I mainly got it because I could tell streaming from my phone on Wi-Fi, I've been having kind of like laggy picture. And I don't want that. I want the best. So I went out there and got the best. And I also got this for my live streams to help me out a little more, to stand up my phone. This thing is very useful. I can actually stream this thing right on my, put this thing right on my dashboard of my car and stream while I drive. It's a very cool little thing. It hangs on doorknobs and everything. If you're out there making YouTube channels, this little guy is where you need to go. Anyways, I'm going to be streaming later on tonight. I'm going to do some video games. I'm going to go live stream on YouTube before I play Twitch and all that good stuff. So, hope you all have a safe day. And always remember, man, the mind is very powerful now. Very powerful.